Curious about slow travel but not sure where to start? We've lived in each of these 4 cities for a month or more, and we feel this is a great place to ease your way into the slow travel journey.
And about that slow travel, what we're talking about when we say slow travel is doing it on your own terms, making it intentional, immersive, and having longer stays.
Hi, I'm Kevin,
And Teresa.
and this is Beyond Arrival, where we want to simplify the planning and amplify the experience.
So here's what we think makes a place good for slow travel. Starting off with affordability. You'll hear us say that time and again today as we talk about each of these 4 places. Additionally, we're looking for reliable infrastructure, things like Wi-Fi, healthcare, transit, and then of course we want cultural interest.
Yes.
Something that is fun to go look at on our weekends.
It's the reason why we travel.
That's right. And we don't want it to be overwhelmingly complex. So don't make it too difficult on yourself if you're thinking about slow travel.
Safety is a huge concern.
That's right.
And also walkable. When traveling, walkability is a huge factor as you're getting around in another land. Here's our list of 4 cities we recommend to help ease your way into slow travel. Number 1 is Mérida, Mexico. This has a sweet spot in our hearts because it was one of the first places we went to start the slow travel journey. Located on the Yucatan Peninsula, it's really close to the U.S. It's very easy to get to, which is one of the reasons that's where we started. And it's also very safe and extremely charming. The things we also like about it, it's very community focused. When you get there, everyone will treat you like family.
Also, there's an easy pace of life, so it doesn't feel stressful. You can get where you need to go easily. And there's great health care, which we've used both dental care and health care there.
That's right.
And as Kevin mentioned, you're treated like family. There's a strong local community as well as a really strong expat community. So depending on what your interest is, you can connect with folks from all around the world right there in Mérida.
Number 2 on our list is Da Nang, Vietnam. This is a beach town. It has a great vibe. You are literally right on the beach. It's great for digital nomads. We noticed there was very strong Wi-Fi, which for us is a non-negotiable. It's very affordable with very modern living and modern apartments.
As we mentioned before, affordable is often at
Yes.
the top of our list.
Top of the list.
And we just returned, we were just there a couple months ago.
Yes.
So what's really nice about it, I think probably because it's at the beach, is that it feels very peaceful and it's rather unintimidating, which
Yes.
might surprise you given that it's in Southeast Asia. But we found it easy to navigate and everyone is extremely helpful. There's a fair amount of English spoken, or just use your Google Translate.
Yes.
And interestingly, the Da Nang is located centrally in Vietnam, so you can get to other parts with a regional flight. You can get to Hanoi, you can get to Ho Chi Minh City for a quick weekend trip, or just pop up to the mountains and have some cooler weather if you like. So it's just a great location, and we are huge fans of Da Nang, Vietnam.
Yes. Number 3 on our list is Panama City, Panama. This makes an easy transition because they actually accept the US dollar as currency. They have the Balboa, which is their own national currency, but you don't have to worry about any conversions or trying to figure out how can I get that currency while I'm there. That makes it extremely easy to make that transition. And it's a solid metro area. Very easy to get around and very modern.
Additionally, there is a familiar infrastructure. So when you think about what you're used to in your home country, you'll probably find it easy to get around Panama City.
Very much so.
We've been going there for 10 plus years on and off. I
10
know.
years.
Can you believe it? So aside from, the big tourist sites like the Panama Canal, there are many other daily living activities that you can enjoy. It's a great place for first timers, just getting started with slow travel, modern apartments, modern high rises for very affordable prices, and it's a great way to ease your way into Latin America.
Wrapping up our list at number 4 is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We found Malaysia to be very affordable, modern, and highly livable. There's malls throughout the country that are amazing, where we would go there, do some shopping. There were high-end stores that were there. I mean, we were searching out malls to find restaurants to eat in because they were just so fancy and high-end.
And delicious.
And delicious.
We were living our best 13-year-old lives at the
Yes,
mall.
at the mall.
Don't judge. Speaking of food, there's a great food scene, multicultural food scene all over Malaysia. We went on 2 food tours, one in KL, which is the insider's way to refer to Kuala Lumpur.
Insider tip.
Yeah, call it KL.
Let's call it KL.
So a food tour in KL and then one in Penang, which is a short train ride away. So we really enjoyed experiencing all the different foods that Malaysia has to offer. I think some of the best in the world that we've had.
I think so too. And we had really good food on the train.
That's right.
They served a real meal. That was awesome.
We digress. Strong public transportation.
Yes.
So we took the monorail, which gives you a great view of the city as you're traveling around to different places.
Yes.
And then we took the underground. So we had a really nice experience, easy to use, extremely clean, and we've traveled on public transport around the world, and this is probably some of the best.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I would say Malaysia is an interesting hub of Southeast Asia. So once you're there, you can get arguably anywhere.
Yes.
So if you're in KL, you can get to Thailand, you can get to Vietnam, you can get to Indonesia, and it's simple. Couple flights. And for those of you really interested in Singapore, you're right next door.
Right next door.
So go visit KL. Stay tuned for additional videos that we'll be doing that give a deep dive into each of these places, where we're going to share what we loved about these cities, what surprised us about these cities,
Yes.
and what we might do differently, because it is true, we don't get it right the first time every
No.
time. So some of our lessons learned. So if any of these caught your eye, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of those upcoming videos. So let's talk about some of the things that we've learned from slowing down in each of these places.
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
Yes. One of the most interesting things, if you know me, is that we've learned to build routines instead of itineraries. And as Kevin will tell you, Teresa loves a good itinerary.
Yes.
But we save those for our weekend journeys, and we focus on routines day to day, things like going to the coffee shop, taking a beach walk, whatever it might be. We also enjoy connecting with local people and other expats and just acting as though we live in this place. And then lastly, just enjoying some of the small moments in new places. So what can be small moments in your home country will feel very different in a new locale.
So here are a few tips for picking your first slow travel spot. I would say after experience and staying in different places, don't choose your first spot only by cost. Think comfort plus curiosity. You know, there are places you can go where you can save a few dollars, but you're going to give up some comfort. You're going to give up some adventures that you can take just for a few dollars. Yeah, exactly right. You're going to be staying on the couch. You're going to be inside for a while. And those creature comforts over time, it makes a big difference.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning is important.
Yes.
And with us, Wi-Fi is also super important as well. I would research the length of visa, how long you can stay while you're in the country. There are some places that are 30 days. There are some places that are 6 months. You know the difference, or you'll be taking what's called a visa run, where you have to leave the country, come back, get your visa stamped so you can stay there for a longer period of time. Also with seasonality, make sure you are looking at when you go. Is it the rainy season? Is it the dry season? Is it some holiday that everyone's coming home for, or people around the world are going to celebrate? Those things are important to take into consideration when you're traveling and staying in a place for a long period of time. And the local culture. Sometimes the language may or may not seem like a barrier, but you also need to understand the culture of the place that you're traveling to. And I would consider the third one probably walkability. You want to be able to walk around, because when you're staying somewhere for a long period of time, you're not always going on excursions. You're not always doing something. There'll be times you're just home. You might have a rainy day, and you just want to walk around and run to the store very quickly. So transportation is important. Walkability is important. And for us, strong Wi-Fi and amenities, basic amenities, I would say.
I think regarding transportation, walkability, and maybe we haven't said this, but our number one advice is don't try to rent a car. I think it may be counterintuitive depending on where you're from, but renting a car in a foreign land just adds a layer of complexity that's unnecessary. You'll find, I would say in these 4 cities specifically, you can easily get by without your own car.
That's right.
You can hire ride shares, you can hire drivers, whatever it might be, within budget. You can get around town for a couple bucks. So
that's right.
That's why we're talking about walkability and transportation. So all 4 of these cities that we've shared with you today have taught us how to slow down and travel more thoughtfully and intentionally in different ways than we had previously before we started our slow travel journey. What we're most curious about is which of these cities would you choose if you were going to choose one to try first?
That's a great question.
So why don't you go ahead and drop that down in the comments below and maybe even tell us why.
Oh, that would be great.
So let us know which city you would choose. And then lastly, remember, we're going to be doing a deeper dive into each of these, so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss those upcoming videos where we give you all of the inside information on each of these cities.
Speaking of giveaways, we're going to have a free city snapshot pack below. It's a freebie with cost breakdowns, visa tips, and where to stay. So make sure you grab our free city snapshot pack. Thanks for joining us here at Beyond Arrival, where we simplify the planning and amplify the experience.
Thank you.